What's going on, everybody? We're here with the third video, and today we're going to be reading about Jesus walking on water. I feel like we all know that Jesus walked on water. We all know that Jesus is the guy that did all these miraculous things, and he walked on water, and he helped blind people see. We learned all these things as a kid. We learned all these things as a kid, but we never really learned why he walked on water, or why he did it when he did it, or the way he did it. And so today we're going to read about that, and we're going to really figure out why. We're going to break it down real quick, like it's a short passage. We can read through it. There is one word that I've always had trouble pronouncing in this passage. I think it's Gennesaret or Gennesaret, but we're going to call it Gennesaret. Let's get right into it. Matthew 14:24. But this sorry, it's like 6 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. Bear with me. My reading skills are going to be butchered. But the disciples who were now in the middle of the lake ran into trouble, for their boat was tossed around by the high winds and the heavy seas. At about 4 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came to them walking on the waves. When the disciples saw him walking on top of the water, they were terrified and screamed, "A ghost!" When Jesus said, "Be brave and don't be afraid, I am here," Peter shouted, "Lord, if it is really you, then have me join you on the water." "Come and join me," Jesus replied. So Peter stepped out into the water and began to walk towards Jesus. But when he realized how high the waves were, he became frightened and started to sink. "Save me, Lord," he cried out. Jesus immediately stretched out his hands and lifted him up. Oh my goodness. "What little faith you have. Why would you let doubt win?" And the very moment they both stepped into the boat, the raging wind ceased. Then all the disciples bowed down before him and worshiped Jesus. They said in adoration, "You truly are the Son of God." After they crossed over and landed in Gennesaret, the people living there quickly recognized who he was. They were quick to spread the news throughout the surrounding region that Jesus had come to see them. So what this passage really tells us is that he sent the disciples out to the lake after he was done teaching. And then when they get out there, there's a raging storm, waves higher than we could imagine, and wind crashing down. It's like those TikToks you see on TikTok about, or with like the Dead Sea and like the raging storms with the cargo ships and stuff. Picture that, but like a little boat with like 12 people in it or something like that. And then in the distance they see Jesus, but they don't know it's Jesus, and they're like, "A ghost." And Jesus is like, "It's me. Calm down." And Peter says, "If it's really you, then have me join you on the water." Jesus is like, "Come on." So Peter gets out the boat, starts walking on water. You can only imagine he's mesmerized. He knows it's Jesus now. Starts walking towards Jesus, but as he does, he sees the waves. These giant waves and raging winds around him, and he gets terrified, and he begins to sink. And Jesus has to reach in the water and lift him out, and immediately tells him, "Why would you let doubt win?" And then they get back into the boat, and the storm completely stops. And immediately they just start to praise Jesus. I can imagine they're crying, they're just, in total shock. But really, what Jesus was saying in this moment was to keep your eyes on me. When focused on Jesus and not the terrifying world around us, we can walk on water too. But as soon as we take our eyes off of Jesus, we sink. And Jesus has to reach down and pull us out again and again and again. So That's really why Jesus walked on water when he did. Jesus isn't just the guy that walked on water. And now you know. We out.